And I'm also going to share my presentation. Can somebody tell me, can you see my presentation?
We can see your screen. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So thank you for coming on this Zero Tolerance for FGM Day. So my name is Janet Chapman, Chair of Tanzania Development Trust and founder of Crowd2Map, that's been working with FGM activists such as the people at Hope for the last 7 years to map rural Tanzania. So Tanzania Development Trust is a volunteer-run charity that supports clean water, girls' education and income generation. Hope, which we'll hear more about shortly, is run by FGM activist and survivor Roby Samweli, that provides a safe environment for girls escaping FGM. And we'll hear from some of the girls shortly. So they work with local activists doing outreach work in the villages, as you can see here, and also runs 2 safe houses in Magumu and Butiama for girls who are refusing to be subjected to FGM. So for those of you that don't know, FGM is the cutting of female genitalia for cultural or religious reasons. There are 4 types as outlined here. And in Tanzania, it generally happens during cutting seasons, particularly in places like Mara, where it's seen as a rite of passage and a preparation for marriage, and generally happens to adolescent girls. It's illegal, but it's prevalent, particularly in the areas shown. So this is showing a map of Dar es Salaam, the biggest city in Tanzania, that me and Harry and Alan and many others were at recently for State of the Map Tanzania. And as you can see, it's very well mapped because there's been a lot of mapping projects there funded by the World Bank and others, involving people like OpenStreetMap Development Tanzania that we work really closely with. But rural Tanzania is much more poorly mapped. So in that area shown, 10,000 people live here, but not really shown on any map. So as I said, we're working with FGM activists and the gender desk who run safe houses, but girls could not easily find the safe houses, and the safe house staff and the gender desk couldn't easily find the girls because most villages were not on the map. So activists fighting FGM and gender-based violence and child marriage and many other things such as progress towards the SDGs need maps. So Crowd2Map has been producing them for the last 7 years. So Crowd2Map is an entirely volunteer program that's been putting rural Tanzania on the map. So you can see here a big group of youth mappers that we work with from many different universities, training the local community to map. So generally, the mapping that we do has 2 stages. Firstly, we make the base map, which is what we're going to do shortly. So this means adding the roads, as you can see here, and the buildings. So you can see there are some buildings added here, these with a red mark around them, but there's 2 other buildings here that we can see from this satellite image that are not yet added. So what we're going to be doing very shortly is looking at some satellite images and creating, adding any buildings that are missing. And as I mentioned earlier, we have a Slack channel that people can get feedback on their mapping, because we hope that you will want to continue with this. But then the second part of the mapping, really more importantly, is training people like Harry, like Joyce and Elizabeth to add their local knowledge using a free app on phones called Organic Maps. So this shows, so basically you use the phone's GPS, you can zoom in, you can go to where you are, and then you can click to add a point and then choose what kind of point it is. And hopefully Harry will say a bit more about that shortly. So here you can see some people adding their local water point. This is a water point behind you here. And so they're adding it using Organic Maps. And then we've also done a lot of training with the police gender desk to use Organic Maps to quickly find girls at risk. So typically what would happen is in the middle of the night, there'd be a phone call saying there's girls about to be cut in Cabancha village. And previously that village was not on any map, so it was very difficult for the police and the activists to find and rescue those girls quickly, particularly because there's no road signs, there's no street lights, so it's very difficult. Whereas Organic Maps works offline, so you don't need an internet connection, and it will route you to exactly where you want to be. So if, for example, girls are being protected by the pastor in the Catholic Church, then if you know that they're in the church, then you could quickly find your way to there and rescue them before they're subjected to FGM. We also set up a network of digital champions. So here, these were women who'd never used a smartphone before, being trained to mark the safe places in their communities, and also then report cases of gender-based violence using another free app called ODK, Open Data Kit. So originally there were 87 digital champions in every village in Serengeti, and then this was expanded to Butiama and Tarime districts. So these are all districts of Mara. And here you can see the village leaders looking at a map of the village for the first time and working out what things are still missing so that we can improve these village level maps. So here are some of the original youth mappers, digital champions. They were selected by their village and then trained to map them. And there's more information about this on the Hope for Girls website. I'll put the link in shortly. So this was set up in 2019 originally, but this is an ongoing project. So there's been ongoing training via WhatsApp groups and also on the ground. And hopefully Harry can say a little bit more about this shortly. So another thing that we've done is collect information about the different clans in Serengeti district. So clans are sub-tribes, and the people that organize the cutting in a cutting season, it's linked to which clan or sub-tribe they're in. So being able to map this and know this is very important in planning outreach work and interventions during the cutting seasons. So we estimate that having better maps has helped over 3,000 girls to find safe houses and avoid being cut. And every year when girls are subjected to FGM, some of them will bleed to death and die tragically. So this has also coincided with a reduced death rate. We were featured in the Independent newspaper in 2020 on our 5th anniversary. And you can see here Roby teaching some of the digital champions. So that's just a very quick overview of what we're doing. And if you'd like to know more and get in touch, then my email is there. So now I'm going to hand over to Harry and the girls to say a little bit more, and then Harry, I'm hoping that you're going to actually teach people how to get started, but if not, I can do that. And if people have any questions, then please do put them in the chat. Okay, Harry, over to you.
Okay, thank you guys for all joining us today for this day. So the map that are people really contributing remotely and drawing the buildings and adding some of the features remotely are really very helpful, because some of the field mapper who are on the ground are always adding local information, which will later help when hope for girls and women and gender desk police receive the information about the girl who are in, the girls who are in danger of being caught. So when they receive the information, those maps help really them to make quick, decision on which route should they take to reach the village very easily. And that's how we managed to rescue more than 3,000 girls who were in danger of being cut. So I just want to say the work that people are doing remotely are really very helpful when we are adding the local knowledge and helping rescue girls who are in danger of FGM, and also helping the police station and staff at the home to make a decision on which route they should take. So I think I have few girls here who are, run from the FDM, from the villages, so we will hear a bit from them, and they can say the experience on using the map and how map is helping them, when they, starting their trip from their place maybe to search for the safe place. And I think I will make more clarification when there will be more questions from you guys. So yeah, I would like to, welcome Joyce and Elizabeth to just say a few words. How is Mark helping them, and then we'll see, maybe showing you how you can start mapping. Welcome, Elisa.
My name is Elisa. I live in Tanzania. Map help us for direction.
Okay, you have to bear with these guys are a bit shy speaking online, so yeah. Can Joyce please welcome?
And also Map can help you as for showing the place surrounding our communities.
Yeah, so I've been training some of the guys here on how they can, visualize the map and, helping them to read the map. And I'm also running the training with the digital champions and training them on how they can add the local knowledge into the map, so that it will be very easy for us and some of the staff at home and gender desk police to do some visualization and making a quick decision. Like if we receive the call from, gender desk, digital champion, that there are girls who are in danger of being cut or FGM. We always, by sharing the location of the area they are, we normally, see the location, the area, and then tell them to maybe take them to the nearest safe place, so that will be very easy for, gender desk police and help staff to reach there so that they can rescue those guys. So I just want to say, want to thank you very much for the work that you're doing on helping to map remotely. And your work is not in vain. We are still using them so that we can help some in the village and other area around. And just like Elizabeth and Joyce. So I'm going to pass you through on how you can start on mapping. If there is no question actually regarding that, I'm gonna pass you through on how you can start mapping remotely.
Great, thank you. If people do have any questions, please do put them in the chat, or if you want to unmute yourself, that's also fine. Just let us know. And you should be able to share your screen, Harry. And if people are already mappers and want to get started, the project that we're using is 1413, and there's some instructions were also emailed to you, but I put them in the chat too. So thank you. Okay,
Can you see my
great.
screen?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, so if it's your first time using, it's your first time you're registering to OpenStreetMap, and so let me log out first so that I can start. Yeah, so you have to go. This is so let me share fresh. I'm sorry. I'm just going to quickly save.
So if you already have an OpenStreetMap account, then you can go directly to the tasking manager. But if not, you need to create an OpenStreetMap account first.
Yeah, I think to do that, you have to go to, OpenStreetMap.org and try to sign up if you don't have an account, and it will give you some of the instruction to follow, and you will fill in the details. So after filling everything, they will send you a link into your email, and you will have to activate it so that you'll be able to you start using it. So for me, I will just go right to hot tasking manager and try to explore the project that we want to contribute, and I'm going to use an AD editor for showing you how you can start mapping.
When people have created their OpenStreetMap username, if they want to put it in the chat, then we can also connect that way. This is my OpenStreetMap username.
So this is the area that we're going to map. I'm going to start contributing. Yeah, so I'm going to select one of the projects mapping, like this one, and the editor, you have to choose the editor that you want to use. I think for beginner one, it will come automatically like ID editor. So I will choose an ID editor. And
so great to see there's a few people mapping there already, as you can see by the padlock bits.
yeah, so here is how you can showing the building, yeah, so we have three types of we need to add, but getting on mapping the building. So we'll use the area feature here to add. So this is the building select on the yeah, I will select an area, and I will start drawing the corner point of this building, like here you can see. And at the end, I will double click and I will select the building. And then I will make it square. I can always, sorry, my computer is becoming slow. Yeah. So if the building is not well squared, your first map is not well squared, you can select it and click to give you an option like square it, move it, different options. That's the one that I've already marked. I'm going to the Second one here, I'm selecting again the tool, area, feature, and start drawing it the corner. And I'm selecting as a type, and I'm placing it for key, and I'm going to the next one. So this is how, if you have a question, please, you can just, share it on a chat.
And also, if you want to give yourself a bit more room for mapping, you can minimize the left and the right sections by clicking on the bit where it says inspect. Maybe you could do that, Harry.
Come again.
I was saying, if you want to maximize the place that you're mapping, you can get rid of the left-hand box and the right-hand box by clicking on the minimize button.
Yeah, there is this also.
Yeah, and yeah. So if anybody has any questions, please let us know, or if anyone wants to share their screen and ask that way, then also you can. And just to say, for this task, we're just adding the buildings because that's a bit more straightforward. When you get to do roads, then you have to just be a bit more careful about how you categorize or tag them. And please remember to square your buildings. So Harry, can you just show that again, how to square them? Okay, I think, yeah.
So if I let you, so
you can right click and go down to square, or I think it's Control O. So I
probably to square you just using your keyboard, you can just select after selecting the category, I mean the feature type, you can just place Q on the keyboard.
Q, yeah. Or right click, yeah.
Yeah. So let me show you the quick way of using the shortcut on the keyboard. Like that one is not squared, so after I select the feature building, then I'm going to click Q on the keyboard. You can see my building square. And then just let me remind you guys, after mapping, you have to save it. So I'm going to show you how you can save this. So you have to save. So I just reference 20 as a new hashtag. So I'm going, after that, I'm just going to upload. Yes, I think so. Then I will have to put some comment if for today's, if I've done completely the area, but since I'm not done completely the area, we just put no. You can put either yes if you completed the map the area, or no if not well mapped, and then you can submit. I'm just going to share this and then I will open them.
And if you're able to add all of the buildings in that square, then that's really good, because then one of our more advanced mappers will then validate it. That means they will check that all of the buildings are added. So if possible, it's always a good idea to try to complete a square so that nobody else has to go back and finish it. So I don't, Harry, maybe you could also show how to add a round building, just in case there are some in a particular area.
Good point. Let me try it. Yeah. So I'm opening another one here, and I'm using the editor and select.
So just to explain about the editors, ID editor, which Harry is explaining, is the sort of straightforward editor for which is good to get started with. But if you become get very interested in mapping and want to take it further, then JOSM has a lot more additional features. So I think quite a few of the people here, especially I know Alan, I'm not sure about all of the others, are mapping using JOSM. And if people are interested, then maybe we could just briefly talk about some of the advantages in a minute. Maybe Alan would like to do that.
Okay, thank you, Janet. So the advantages of using JSON besides ID, but also the reason why we first do ID editor is because as a beginner, there is support in ID whereby there is a walkthrough before you start mapping, and some of the tools are a bit straightforward when you're using ID editor. So after using ID editor, helping you to get the basics, you'll be able to move on to using JSON. Now, JSON is also an editor, but now for it, it works on, you install it on your computer, and it will require for you to have a Java runtime. And with it, you have a couple of shortcuts, a couple of tools that can help you to increase on the speed of mapping. And so briefly, I would say that is what JSON is more of, to support you to be able to do more extra mapping compared to what you will be doing ID. And also it can help you to use a low internet connection, because as soon as you select the task and then it loads, you can be able to switch off the internet and be able to map. And that is in case you have low bandwidth, and also you have limited, data bundles. So it will be easy. It will be very easy for you to work without the need of the internet in JSON at that moment after that has been downloaded. So as soon as you're done mapping, you can reconnect back to the internet and be able to upload. Thanks.
Thank you, Alan. That's very helpful. So, Harry, I think you're going to show how to do a round building, even if we haven't actually got a round building, just in case people come across one.
So to map around, just area, and then you have to go at 2 ways. So I'm selecting the building, and then I'm right click on the building, and then that's the first way. The second one, triangle like this one, and then I'm seeing that's two ways of drawing process for the second one. Just slow. And
Okay, so that was how to do a round building. So you could either do right click and select the round. Has anybody found any round buildings in this, in their task? So, any questions, please do put them in the chat or unmute yourself. So we've been teaching people about mapping from satellite images for the last 7 years, mostly youth mapper groups and community groups and people via our Slack channel. Great, so Edward's found a round building, wonderful. Okay, I hope you managed to map it okay. Edward, if you want to share your screen and show us, then please let me know and I'll give you co-host privileges. But Alan, who we met at State of the Map Tanzania last month, has been doing a lot of work teaching school children about OpenStreetMap, which I think is a fantastic project in Uganda and something that we would like to do more of in Tanzania. Alan, I don't know if you want to say anything about that project briefly.
Yes, I can be able to say something about the project.
Thanks.
So,
and if you want to share your screen, please do.
Okay, okay, I was trying to first finish what I was mapping.
Sorry.
But I'll be able to share a few sources at the end, and you could be able to read about it through our blogs and our social media platforms, and also our upcoming website, which is going to be soon up specifically for the program. So just to give a brief, we are doing work around the problem of computer access, and we are doing this through leveraging of the mapping that we're actually doing right now. So we are training students on how to map using satellite imagery that is on the computers, and also how to be able to do photographic interpretation by just understanding that when I look at this satellite imagery I'm looking at, I can be able to know that this is a building, this is a tree, this is a road, this is, the different features. And with this, we are helping them not only to improve their ICT skills through the clicking that, as they click to map around the buildings, they are, getting familiarized with how to use the mouse and also how to interface with all the different hardware that comes with the computer, that is the keyboard and also the different interfaces. Now, with this, we are doing it under a shared model access. And with this shared model access means that the school doesn't own the computer. We're not donating computers to the schools, but we bring the computer into the school. The students are able to work with the computers, the teachers are able to work with the computers, and then afterwards, at the end of the day, we move the same computers to a different school and do the same thing, then keep moving. So it's more of a rotation basis. And also, we are not replacing the school curriculums. We are only supporting the school curriculums with these mapping activities. And at the end of the day, these students are going to be the people who are going to support the mapping tomorrow, the same people who are going to be working in different government entities, private sector entities, because the skills that we are providing them give them a leverage, give them a chance to be able to have an opportunity when they're done with their school to be able to work in whatever environment, and also to be able to create jobs for themselves in the environments they will be in. So the program currently, so far, we have done in West Nile, that is the top north of Uganda, and also in the southwest of Uganda, bordering, for the north, we are bordering Congo and also South Sudan. Then in the southwest, we are bordering Rwanda and still DRC Congo. So these are the regions that we are already active in, and currently we're expanding in the central country. That is the Kampala city and the neighboring districts, as well as some other regions that are closer by. So in summary, that's what the project is all about. I'm going to post a few links in the chat for you to be able to read about the project and also be able to probably share your ideas. In case there are any questions, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Alan. I think it's a fantastic project. So we've done a little bit of teaching school students to do what we're doing now, marking buildings and so on for using satellite images in the UK, and also in Tanzania, and it's certainly something that we want to expand upon. Some of the issues that Alan mentioned in Uganda, i.e. schools not having access to computers or not having good connectivity, are a big challenge in Tanzania. We've done a little bit at the Safe House in Mugumu with some of the computers there. Harry and the girls, I don't know if you want to say any more about that. It's certainly something we want to develop further. Harry, do you want to say anything more about the training that you've been doing there?
Yes, actually, we're trying to, to train some of the girls on how they can use computer. Actually, we had a collaboration with Harrison to do an online course training on how they can, do some of the computer application like Microsoft Word and Excel and some of the stuff. So also we're trying to, making them using computer practically and doing some of those stuff, because we believe in the near future we need, they need technology and they need to know how to, have that for their, benefit and other activities. So yeah, we just have to computer at the moment, but we hope we will have more collaboration. Maybe to have more computers so that girls can have an experience in using the computer and doing other stuff by using computers. So yeah.
Thank you, Harry, and thank you, Alan, for the links. Just to say that Harry has been doing a lot of training, also with many different youth mapper and community mapping groups. So we have a WhatsApp group. I'll put the link in the chat that we organize the ongoing training in. And we also have monthly sessions for youth mapper groups in particular, but anyone is welcome to come. So I'll put the link to the next session. They're generally on the last Saturday of every month. And all of the training that we do, we always record it. So you can also I'll put the link to the playlist also in the chat. So people are very welcome to come to any of those sessions. Also, for the youth mapper groups, I mean, one of the main things is to also share good practice from different mapping projects in Tanzania and beyond. So if you are doing something interesting and would like to present about it, then also that would be amazing. Okay, well, great to see Harry's still mapping. I hope everyone else is as well. And if anyone has any questions, please feel free to ask them. Otherwise, we'll carry on mapping to the top of the hour. I'll also share these links and the recording to the people who registered. Okay, well, if there aren't any questions, I'm going to stop recording, I think.